Hey ho, I'm in a tub and now it's time for Jay's shower thoughts. Today I'd say I had a pretty productive day, although also not really because, okay, I did have a productive morning and afternoon because I went out to cycle with my mom just to get like some groceries. I mean, she didn't want to use her voucher, so there's that. Um, Actually, I didn't go out of will. I just kind of got dragged out. I mean, it was kind of fun anyway because on the way back, I how do I say this? We cycled over like a really huge puddle, and my shoes got absolutely drenched. But you know what? It's okay. That's absolutely fine. I'm absolutely fine with that. It was fun, and it's been a while since I played with a huge ass puddle from the rain. And I took a while to finally getting through recording this because I was struggling to make a stool float in my teapot in Genshin Impact. I'm not one of those avid damage player users. I'm one of the more passive ones, alright? That just enjoys their time in the teapot. See, the teapot is my therapy, okay? And so there's this glitch that sometimes I use to, well, just make stuff float. And I wanted to use that glitch to make that stool float. And I finally did it, but at the cost of like a part of my sanity. Like I think I took like more than 20 minutes just to make that thing float. I mean, I already did the first time, but it looked wrong, so I made myself suffer another 10 minutes, I guess. So there's that. Okay, back to the question at hand. This is also one thing that I've been asking myself as well, because I do find that I'm also one of the couple of people who are pretty rooted with what I believe in, and I'm not really sure why or what drives me to firmly believe in the things that I believe in. Maybe it's because of my past events, but I really don't think that's just simply how it works. Like, I'm pretty sure personal experiences of the past alone don't really add on to the firm belief in our own ideals and why we, or at the very least I, think that my ideals are right. Some of them could be even toxic for all I know, and I might not even know that myself. But why is it that I believe, or okay, let's just generalize this. Why is it that several people, or couple people, or maybe just people in general, believe that their ideals are right, despite them not knowing that some of them might potentially be toxic? I mean, whatever ideals or principles they have might just be because that's the way they want to be treated in life. That's their like some kind of preferences for the way that they're treated in life. Or maybe it's not just them, it's also for the rest of humanity or society as well. Like they deserve to get like the same treatment, regardless. That's maybe the cause of their firm beliefs and their ideals. Some of them might believe that it shouldn't just apply to themselves, but to others as well. It's like a fundamental right, at least. But what makes them believe that it's a fundamental right? Oh God, I'm screwing with my own head even further. Cause honestly, if you think about it, fundamental rights is just something that people all around the world just mutually agreed that, hey, it's right. It's right for what's what's supposed to be right for all of us. But then again, it's like a fundamental right because not only do people agree, we also agree that we want that fundamental right to be given to us, like food, our right to express our identity, access to whatever kind of stuff we're supposed to have for our own convenience, because We just want to live. We just want to live in peace. This, again, I've said, is also something that I myself have been struggling to figure out for a while too. So answering this is going to take a while, because I actually just sat for like a couple of minutes. I did like a cut, and I actually had to think of what to say. And I think it's not just because of our own personal past experiences that happened to us. I guess it stems from like other people as well. I mean, we're the supposed we're the supposed social creatures for some reason. Not all of us are social, but I mean, I think it's because of the overwhelming stuff. But anyway, back to the point. Okay, back, how do I say this? Onto the social standpoint, us being social creatures, we're supposed to have natural empathy or sympathy for others. And so I guess that's what adds on to the firmly rooted ideals. Like they probably saw something bad, really bad happen to someone, and they're like, hey, you know what? I don't want that thing to happen to me or for other people again. Cause like if they see something happening, either to themselves or to the other party, they will end up they will form these beliefs. They will form this system in their brain which builds up their beliefs, and then they will how do I say this? Project or express out their beliefs in a few actions or words or so without outright saying it to others, or maybe even to themselves as well. It's like when you listen, it goes in and out, but it actually processes in the brain instead of it just going in and out, if you get what I'm saying. It's like, okay, for example, those Christian conservatives, like they project to you so hard about the preaching of Jesus Christ and being so weirdly over reliant on the Bible just to justify what they're saying. No, I should rephrase that. Justify their wrongdoings, as if Jesus or God will forgive them for that. Like, even the thing that's like commonly said as like don't use God's name in vain. I'm pretty sure that only means to not use God's name to slander other people. Like you can say, "Oh my God," or something like that. Like it's fine. It's just expression. And besides, he's like what, an omnipotent being? So what's he to do if all we just say are like 3 words? Like, wouldn't he get mad if you used his name to slander other people for no reason instead of the good old typical "oh my God"? Because seriously, that thing that I learned in church was so freaking ridiculous. All right, I genuinely thought back then that I could not say "oh my God" because they were always so insistent about not using God's name in vain, even giving that as an example. Really, I'm pretty sure God wouldn't give a shit. I mean, if they learned this kind of stuff from childhood and there was no one else that was around to how do I say this? To redact, I guess, to what they believe in, then I guess it's understandable. Like there's no one to trim their trees leaves, so all they're ever going to see is this constant shade, and that they think that this shade will forever be good for them, and like getting no sunlight will be like good for them because they're protected under the shade. And in the end, it's not at all. That closed mindset is ultimately going to be their demise, and probably some of ours too, despite the fact that we might think that our beliefs are fundamentally right. Like, I believe mine are, but I believe I should also like be pretty open-minded to what other people also believe in. Like, if I see that they make a good point, then okay, that makes sense. I should believe in that too. Or it might not actually be the similar experiences in the past or in the present, I guess, that made them have these ideals. It might just be the opposite. That might sound confusing, but what I mean is that if you were okay with being so stagnant all the time, you might have the belief that now you want to change and make as many changes as you can, and you firmly believe that you should because of that stagnancy in the past. That's what I mean. I hope that makes sense. Because that's kind of what it was for me. I was a very stagnant person, and I was okay with it so long as I got a shred of attention from other people, which is really sad, but I'm working on it, and I don't want to be so horrendously dependent on other people anymore. Sure, I should be depending on other people for support, but not to the point that my whole emotional well-being should depend on it. And other people who are also emotionally really dependent on other people should do the same, because they're going to end up losing themselves, and they're just gonna have a major identity crisis and just lose themselves in general. And yeah, that's pretty much that. I'm not in favor of constantly questioning why, even though it is interesting. Understanding the reasons why people resort to this kind of stuff, or say this kind of stuff, or believe in this kind of stuff is really interesting, because it really tells you what their past is like and what they choose to do in the present now because of that past. Because depending on what people go through, their personality and who they are changes along with it. And like I said, it really can depend on it really can depend on people, because they might have the same past, but the way they process things is like completely different. Like, one can turn out really kind from their past, but one can turn out to be a person who's now living a life of crime because of their past. Yes, this does link to our ideals, because it really doesn't make sense if you have these ideals and then you don't act according to what you believe in. Like what I said just now, a person being kind because of their misjudged past is potentially because they have this belief that they don't want others to suffer the same way. If they don't act kind because I'm not really sure how to phrase this. If they have that ideal and don't behave kind, or in a sense caring, whether indirect or direct, towards others, it again would not make sense at all. So now that I've said that, I'm pretty sure I just contradicted my statement earlier on in the in the recording about how our past experiences can be the only answer. I mean, it really can, but now I say it depends on the severity of the situation. Like, if it's that drastic to your own personal well-being or to others' personal well-being, then I guess that could have been a clear mold to shape the things that you believe in today, or the things that other people believe in today. I'm sorry, I don't really know why, but I find almost every single thing of a person like so fascinating. Like, call me weird, but so many people have like their own identity because of their own experiences, their beliefs, what they like, what they dislike, just because of their own past experiences. And that's what makes them them, even if they're criminals, even if they're war criminals, even if they're not like us. Like us as in, how do I say this? Okay, I don't really know. I'm pretty sure most of us in this generation are mentally unwell. But to rephrase that, people still have their own identities regardless of whether they're mentally in the right place or not. Because for the ones that are not, they still have their own coping mechanisms. Not everyone copes in the same way. People still have their own preferences, despite that. Like, some of them prefer substance abuse, or some of them just prefer distractions. I am really sorry, because I find the concept of people and their identity so fascinating. Like, I really want to hear their stories, like how they ended up being that way, regardless of what kind of person they ended up to be. Even if they ended up being a murderer, I still want to hear why they got to that point, what they did to get to that point. And yeah, I don't really know how to elaborate that. I just wanna hear people's stories and how they managed to come so far. Like, I mean, honestly, if people were to ask me that, I wouldn't really be able to give them a proper answer. Because, I mean, it's kinda lame, but I managed to get myself up by myself. Because there was no one around. Again, kind of sad, kind of lame, but if you think about it, it's also kind of empowering, you know? Because I was always the one that degraded myself. Like, you know, all the terrible belittlement words. Oh, not that. I'm not that person anymore, alright? That me is long gone. Actually, not really. It still comes every now and then, but it just comes up in the form of jokes. They're not legit anymore, alright? Every time it genuinely comes up, though, I will just give myself a good smack in the head. That's it. Even those Christian conservatives, you know, I really do want to hear why they, like, believe in that way. Like, I mean, it might obviously just be the typical, the people around me just said that the Bible is right. You should believe everything the Bible says, and you should use that to justify the things that you've been doing. Every little single thing that you've been doing, okay? And I would definitely think that it'd be absolutely silly. You'd be an absolutely silly goose to completely put your faith in the Bible, in a book. But I still want to hear you out anyway. It might be some kind of savior complex, whatever, but still, I at the very least just hope that these people manage to open their minds a bit more, just to see how goofy they look. So to finally end this off, regardless of the reason, I don't really care what beliefs you have. It's just that, just for the love of God, be more open-minded with what you believe in. Spread out, let your roots spread out a little more. Give your roots some space to grow even more, instead of forcefully restricting them for no reason, because how else will you grow? Not just a person, but just in general, like your goddamn tree. All right. And if you don't, like I said, you'll just look goofy. You will just look like Goofy. wait. Let me try to do the Goofy laugh. Okay, I'm taking my leave. I don't think that's how he laughs. It takes a chocolate and some mustard, and some eggs and some pie, and then you mix it in your. Oh my god, I don't even know what's going on. I'm probably gonna go back to my old format. This is anguish, nothing but anguish. My laptop can't take this anymore.